Hi, I'm Pamela from Pamela's Products, and today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious crispy pizza in your own home. You know, I started Pamela's Products in 1988 because there was really nothing great on the market that was gluten-free. I eat wheat every day, so it was important to me to make foods that really tasted great and had the wonderful texture of the foods that I loved. And also, gluten-free products back in the 80s were so difficult to make. If you'd just been diagnosed with celiac or you had a gluten intolerance, you had to learn how to bake all over. So I wanted to make foods that were so easy to make, that would be delicious, and you could do it in your own home. So let's get started with some pizza. I'm going to use my Pamela's pizza crust mix. And today, some lucky winner is going to walk away with this 4-pound bag. So let me know where you are, who you are, do you have any questions, do you have any comments? Let us know, and at the end, somebody's going to win this 4-pound bag. So my pizza mix comes in a 4-pound bag, and I also have a single-use bag. The 4-pound bag has no yeast. The small bag does have 1 packet of yeast in it. So I'm going to start with 2 cups of the pizza crust mix. I'm going to be using my KitchenAid, and I've got a paddle attachment. You can make this by hand if you want to, but I'm pretty lazy about that. 2 cups of pizza crust mix. Then I'm going to use my yeast packet. This is an active dry yeast packet, so it will be activated just by simply using really warm water. I've got my 1 cup of warm water plus 2 extra tablespoons, and then 2 tablespoons of oil. And that's it. I'm going to turn on the mixer and mix it up for about a minute. It really does only take about a minute. Now you can see that my pizza dough is very sticky. It needs to be this way. We want the pizza dough to be able to expand so that you get that beautiful crust. So you're just going to scrape your dough down into the bottom of the bowl. That's it. Now I'm going to cover this and let this sit in a draft-free warm area for about an hour until my pizza dough rises. Cover. You could also use a saran wrap if you want to. Okay, about an hour later, you're going to see that your dough's risen. It's expanded. This pizza dough will make 2 small pizzas or 1 large. I think when you're starting to make pizza, it's a really great idea to use a smaller pizza, make 2 pizzas out of this 1 batch of dough. Right, I'm going to use parchment paper. This makes it really easy. It makes cleanup really easy, and you can actually be baking right on the parchment. I like to use a little bit of flour on my parchment. You don't have to, just a little sprinkling. Now, you're going to be using a little bit of flour on your fingertips to help press out your crust. So if you're using the 4-pound, you want to use a little extra of the 4-pound pizza mix, but you could use anything. My artisan flour mix, you could use one of my pancake mixes, you could use regular rice flour, even cornstarch works. So I'm going to take half of my pizza dough. So now you can see that this has got somewhat of a sticky, tacky texture. I just want to use my fingertips with flour on it so I can control how much flour goes onto the dough. I like to start in the middle, and I'm going to work my way out to the edge of the crust. I like kind of the organic look of the crust edge, so I don't like to make it all nice and pretty, but you certainly can do that. You want to make sure that you're touching the dough gently, like a baby's bum. Otherwise, it'll stick to your fingers. So just tap into the flour, pushing out your dough until you have a nice crust. Now, if you don't like to have a nice thick crust edge, you can certainly flatten your edge and make a flatbread. It's pizza the way you want it to be. All right, so I've created my dough edge. I've pressed out my dough nice and flat. And now I'm ready to bake. So I'm going to bake my pizza in a 475 to 500 degree oven. I want my oven to be really hot. I'm also going to use the rack in the top third of the oven. Now, if I wanted to use a pizza stone, I would just pop the pizza stone right onto the rack before I preheat the oven. But I want to show you how you can simply make your pizza by just placing the parchment paper right onto the rack. And in it goes. I'm going to bake this now for about 10 minutes. I want my crust to just start to brown, and I want the bottom to start getting some brown too. Then we're going to pull it out and we'll top it. So here's a par-baked crust. I like to use tongs to bring the pizza out. It seems to work really easily. You can see that the parchment paper is going to get a little brown from being in the hot oven. We're going to take our pizza crust and then discard the parchment paper. So now I have a par-baked crust. You can see the edges are just starting to brown. And you're just getting a hint of brownness on the bottom. Again, if you like a really, really crispy crust, you can bake it longer. It just depends on also the size of your crust. The great thing about the par-baked pizza crust is that you can keep some in your freezer. I like to keep a bunch in my freezer. I use these really large, hefty bags, which makes it easy to be able to place the pizza crust into the bag. Then I always have one ready for a quick pizza dinner. This works great for an appetizer if people drop by unexpectedly. And if your child needs to go to someone's house overnight, pull out your frozen pizza par-baked crust. You can then top it, cover it up, send it with them to the house, and it can be heated at the house. It's a really easy idea to have fast on the ready-to-go meals. Okay. Now, a lot of you might wonder, why do you have to par-bake this crust? The reason being is that the pizza mix, it contains a lot of starches and thickeners to help mimic what wheat does. So their job is to hold on to moisture, and what we want to do is bake that moisture out so that we can get a crispier crust. All right, so we've got our par-baked crust, and now we're going to top it, and then we're going to return it to the oven. You can use anything for topping your pizzas. These are just crushed tomatoes, plain crushed tomatoes, which I think have a really nice and fresh flavor. You can certainly use pizza sauce if you want. It's a great way to get rid of your tomatoes if you grow them in your garden in the summer. Pasta sauce, if you don't have pizza sauce, also works. So you're just going to lightly coat your par-baked pizza crust, just a little bit with some of the tomato. Now, you don't have to use tomato. Pesto sauce works just as well. And because this is an egg-free product, it's a vegan pizza crust. So you could use pesto sauce and vegetables for a perfect vegan pizza. All right, so got a little bit of tomato sauce. I'm going to just cover it with a little bit of cheese. Now, I do have basil to put on, but I was told by people at an international pizza show to never cook your pizza with basil, that you're to add those basil leaves after you're done. All right, so my pizza's now topped. It's ready to go back into the oven. Cookie sheet's a great way to transfer it back into the oven. So here we go, 475 to 500 degree oven. Still I'm in the top third. So let me get, here we go, into the oven. And now I'm going to bake this for 5 to 10 minutes until the topping's all nice and bubbly. If you're using other things like meats, pepperoni, sausage, bacon, it may take longer for your toppings to warm up and get all hot and bubbly. I would also suggest that you pre-cook your bacon and your sausage ahead of time and then sprinkle it on your pizza prior to heating it up. Okay, so again, are you writing in? I want to know where you are, who you are. Do you have any questions or comments? Because again, I want to give somebody this 4-pound bag of Pamela's pizza crust.
Pamela, we do have some comments and questions.
Yeah.
Elaine from New York wants to know, that if she could make her gluten-free pizza in a cast iron skillet.
It's a great question, and yes, you actually can. I actually think the best way to do it is to use that cast iron skillet in your oven just as if it were a pizza stone. So preheat your cast iron skillet ahead of time. If you don't do that, it will take way too long for the heat to generate through the cast iron skillet, and you won't be getting that nice crispy edge on the bottom. So your job will be to be able to get the pizza into the cast iron skillet that's hot and already heated in the oven.
Another question, Pamela,
Yeah.
is if somebody does not have a KitchenAid mixer, can they still make this pizza?
Oh, absolutely. It works really well to just mix it up by hand. Probably a wooden spoon would be the best. So,
And then we have
Yeah.
a few comments for you.
oh, great. Love to hear it.
We have Chelsea who says, Pamela, you are my hero. Thank you for setting the bar high for quality gluten-free
Oh,
food.
very sweet. Thank you, Chelsea.
And you've also got shout outs, Kimberly from Maryland, Stephanie from Kansas, Kelly in Portland, and Karen from North Carolina. And she also is asking, why should you put the basil on after the pizza is baked?
Probably because it will stay greener when you bake it. It shrivels up. It tastes fresher. It looks prettier. And actually, I was told by all these pizza professionals to never ever cook my pizza with basil on it. So I'm going by what they have to say. Okay, so now it's time. Do we have a winner? Let's see who won our 4-pound bag of pizza mix. Well, while they're getting me that name, I want you to take a look at our beautiful pizza. Here it is, baked, beautiful, ready to go. All you need to do is cut and enjoy. So there you go. Pizza, delicious, your way. Flatbread style, with a crust, baked with basil and tomato, pepperoni, whatever you want. It's a great meal, an easy meal, and I hope that you'll try it. So let's see who our winner is. Okay. Oh, Elaine from New York. Congratulations, you have now won a 4-pound bag of our Pamela's Pizza Crust Mix. So I'd love to see what you end up doing with it, so send me some shots, okay? So, from Pamela's crispy, delicious pizza, you can do this. See you later.